Hello, I am Martin Luther King Jr. Today we will view a timeline of my speech. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? In the beginning of my speech, I said, the final problem that mankind must solve in order to survive in the world house that we have inherited is finding an alternative to war and destruction, followed by frightening news and irony saying the best brains and the highly developed nations of the world are devoted to military technology. I, of course, disapprove of the destruction from this time. Being determined to achieve peace worldwide, I warned all viewers and listeners about deceptive world leaders and shared my goal for equality and peace. With provided facts throughout the speech, the audience could gain a better understanding of what was happening and why I was moved to speak about it. Along with relating to the listeners, I moved, motivated, and encouraged them in my speech, using all three of these techniques, saying, science has provided us with the adequate means of survival and transportation, which make it possible to enjoy the fullness of this great earth. The question now is, do we have the morality and courage required to live together as brothers and not be afraid? Presenting facts and ideas, making a connection with the listeners and challenging them to feel a certain way, what more rhetoric could the audience ask for? Science being brought in for believability leads the audience to accept what I said and want to keep listening. That, along with saying we together and brothers, to connect more with them. Describing the earth as a full and great place, along with questioning the audience's morality and courage, really pulls them in and makes them feel more emotional. With this quote, I caught the audience's attention and told what I wanted to achieve by being there. In the next paragraph, I loaded the listeners with history, the illusions of Alexander, Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, Charlemagne, and Napoleon, reminded and warned the audience of possible outcomes of standing by. If the listeners weren't feeling what I was by now, the next paragraph definitely pulled them in emotionally. My diction used throughout this paragraph could make the most evil leaders change their minds. So when I went on by saying, when I see our country today intervening in what is basically a civil war, mutilating hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese children with napalm, burning villages and rice fields at random, painting the valleys of that small Asian country with human blood, leaving broken bodies in the countless ditches, and sending home half men mutilated mentally and physically. Words like mutilating, children, random, human blood, and broken bodies, and tremble caught the audience's attention. Listeners shocked by continuous gruesome imagery most likely wanted the same thing as me, peace. In the final paragraphs, I pulled it all together by connecting with the listeners. Creating a plan that we can fulfill, I inspired and led the audience to peace. In the end, I came back to the topic of ending deadly war and left everyone listening with the idea that they have the power to change the world and the desire to do so.